What's going on, guys? So today in this video I'm gonna be doing a review for Terrifier 3. And the reason I haven't done reviews because honestly I just forgot and I've also been lazy, so yeah. But I'm also gonna be talking low because like I said in my last review for Urban Legends Bloody Mary, my freaking what's it called? It's late at night here and my family's asleep, so I can't be too loud. But anyways, yeah, pretty much I'm gonna do a review finally for Terrifier 3. And yeah, how do I feel about this movie? Well, first of all, like, subscribe to the channel. But like I said, back to the video. How do I feel about Terrifier 3? I enjoyed the movie. I for what it was, I enjoyed it. The opening scene was just crazy, just like Art the Clown, just like sneaking in. The little girl's like, she thinks it's Santa, but it wasn't. Art the Clown sneaks in as Santa Claus, obviously, and that's why. And he brings out an axe and literally walks into the little kid's room and literally kills him off screen, obviously, but it was like, you can hear him slashing him. So, with the axe, and yeah, it was just like, then Art the Clown kills the dad very brutally. He kills the mom, literally chops her into pieces, like chops her arms off, chops her head. Like it was just a very brutal, just disgusting opening scene, and yeah, it was a good opening scene for what it was. Not that it really mattered, but I enjoyed it, And then Art the Clown, obviously, it was just funny seeing him clean the dishes and whatnot. But then talking about Sienna, talking about Jonathan, like I like their characters in this movie as well. They do a good performance. I like their chemistry, but not as much as the second one because I feel like they weren't really in this together as much, and I also feel like Sienna and Jonathan, just in general, were more memorable and likable in the second one. Not that they weren't likable in this third one, but it's just I enjoyed their characters more in the second one. I don't know. I feel like they were more fun. They were more just the performance was just better. Not like I said, not that it wasn't in the third one. I'm not knocking them in the third one at all. I just feel like they were better in the second movie, just in general. But overall, yeah, I like Jonathan. I like Sienna, and just seeing her kind of like going crazy, like seeing visions of her dead friend. It was just like very gnarly, and you know, freaking Victoria, like she literally is possessed by the little girl clown Emily, and so that's how Arthur Clown was obviously brought back to life because people keep saying like, oh, Arthur Clown, he's immortal. He could just come back to life, but you know, if you actually pay attention, you would know that every single time he dies, he gets brought back to life by the little girl clown, and that's how he survives every single time. It's not because oh, he's immortal. Like, he's not immortal, bro. He literally got his head decapitated and like was just not moving after that. If it wasn't for the little girl clown, giving birth to him, basically bringing him back to life through Victoria's body, Arthur Clown would have been dead. So, yeah. Anyways, despite that though, it was just like some pretty brutal kills. Like just seeing Arthur Clown, like because I don't remember when this happened, but like Victoria and Arthur Clown are in the abandoned place. These people come to check on it for whatever reason. I guess it was their job, but man, they die pretty brutally. Victoria just like spawns up again for some reason, and she literally stabs one of the guys in the neck with the glass, which is pretty brutal and nasty. Then the other guy literally just, nailed to the forehead, his head ripped open like with the freaking box cutter. Like, man, like, it was just so nasty. That was just such a good kill for the movie. And yeah, like it was just and I don't even know why they added that scene with the Victoria literally, um, pleasuring herself, I should say, doing the dirty deeds with herself. Like I don't know why they did that, but yeah, brutal kill. There was a lot of brutal kills in this movie. The shower scene obviously is one of them. That's probably the one that people talk about the most. But honestly, I think in this movie, I couldn't. I honestly don't think it was more brutal than the second one. Um, that's just my opinion personally. And I think the part of the reason why is because like of the goofiness of this movie. I feel like it was taken up a notch compared to the first two. Like I think the reason why I like the second one the most out of all the three movies is because of the not just because of Sienna and Jonathan. I felt like their characters were super good in that movie. Like at least as far as their chemistry and performance go, not necessarily storyline, but and just the movie itself though like had this perfect balance of horror and comedy, where I feel like the third one just was a little bit too goofy throughout the movie. And I get it, Santa Claus, he's dressed up as Santa Claus, and then, because of the Christmas holiday, they wanted to take it up a notch with the humor. But I don't know, it just kind of took me out of it at times. Like, Arthur Clown was a little bit too humorous in this movie at times. And it kind of just, I don't know, I just didn't really like it. I feel like it was a little bit too much personally, you know? Like, when Arthur Clown is like, can be scary but goofy at the same time, that's when I really like his character. But in this movie, I felt like there was just plenty of times where he was just like straight up just a goofball, and he just was not intimidating at all, Especially when you have him dressed up as Santa Claus and just like making stupid faces, every time he kills someone, right? Like just like I don't know, it just like I said, they took it up a notch with the goofiness. So I think that's part of the reason why I don't think the kills in this movie were that brutal, and why I don't like this movie as much as the second one. Um, but yeah, the shower scene was brutal though for sure. But I don't really think that was even the most memorable kill in the movie for me. For me, it was like the box cutter kill, or um, Sienna's aunt. The rats in her throat, the glass in it. Like that was nasty. Those were like the most brutal, memorable kills in the movie for me. But even those kills weren't more memorable and as brutal as the second movie. So, because like literally, obviously the bedroom scene is still number one brutality in the franchise. Like that movie was freaking just hard hitting when it came to the kills. And even just like the acid kill with Sienna's friend, like that was freaking nasty. That was disgusting. So, yeah, I just think Terrifier 3, for what it was when it came to the kills, like it was good, but it wasn't as good as the first two, man, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, I also just think that most of the characters in this movie weren't that great or memorable to me. Sienna's, you know, obviously her aunt and just like her husband, like they were great, but I didn't really care about them. They didn't really care about any of the other characters in this movie. It was just kind of just like, whatever. And there was just overall, I just felt like there was really no story in this movie, just like the second one. And especially the first one. I mean, there was no story at all in the first one. It was just Arthur Clown killing. But I just don't understand like these movies, man. Like they just with the second and third, I could give them a pass. Well, not a pass, but I could give them a little bit of credit for at least trying to put some story in those movies. But even then, it's just not enough, man. Like they just sprinkle in a little bit of story in the second and third, and they just call it a day. It's just that's it, And then they just have pretty much the whole movie is just Arthur Clown killing people. That's it. It's just a gore, carnage, candy movie. And that's fine if you're into that, but I just wish that they would bring more story into it. I know some people might say, "Oh, but they gotta give you breadcrumbs because they're trying to piece the story within each film." But like, what are they piecing though? What are they really adding much to that really you can grab onto that and be like, "Wow, this is enough for me to be satisfied as far as the story goes." Like, what are they really progressing, or what are they adding that like is so like deep and just like memorable? It's just like very vague stuff in my opinion. Like, cool. You had the flashback with the dad. He's having visions again, and he's like basically saying the sword can't hurt her, which is cool. Saying that she's the only one that could defeat him with this, and the sword gives her powers. It can resurrect her. Um, just all these things like yes, cool, right? They get, and just a little bit of other things too. But yeah, I could say there was a little bit of story in this movie, but it just wasn't enough. Overall, it was just Arthur Clown killing people until the final act where he fought Sienna, just like the second movie. So I just like I feel like that's why I can't really blame people for feeling like there's really no story in these movies and just like not being into it because they just feel like it's just a gore fest. I don't blame them for thinking that, because for the most part that's really what it is. You know, um, I can enjoy it for what it is. Like, I enjoy these movies because they're just, you have some fun characters, you have some funny moments. Um, the kills are brutal, and just overall, it's just like there's just a lot of these movies are just a lot of like just they give you that like old school horror feeling, but it's just like, man, like it's just the lack of stories in these movies, bro. It just like really bothers me, um like, and I guess it wouldn't really bother me if it was, because I feel like the problem is that, like, for example, like Friday the 13th doesn't really have like some deep layered storytelling in their movies, and obviously I have a problem with that. But I think the reason why I have a problem more with Terrifier being that way is because these movies are just so brutal and gory to the point where it's just like that's all it is, At least with Jason, it's like he's not as brutal and gory on the level of these. Like they don't make the kills the main focus of their movie. It's like mainly just Jason himself being the focal point, right? Because that's what people like. That's what he's the most memorable part of the franchise. Um, and just whatever main character is the main character. But like that's really it. Um, but with these movies, the kills are really just the only highlight of the movie. Just how brutal and gory they can go. Um, so yeah, and I also think that as far as like um, what's it called? Hold on, because I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. God dang it. My bad, guys, because I was like, I was thinking about something and then I forgot about it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, but Arthur Clown, he was great in this movie again. Like, this guy, he's like, Arthur Clown is obviously a horror icon at this point for me, at least. In this day and age. Um, and in the final act, I like the final act, just the fight scene alone, like just how the kill with Sienna's aunt, and then like just the the tension, the taunting of Victoria and Art the Clown to Sienna, then like her opening the Christmas present, then like she just raised a sword and cut them both open. Like, that was cool. Um, And just like, and then afterwards, just Sienna and Arthur Clown's fight. It was just a really awesome fight, in my opinion, during the third act. Like, just seeing, Arthur Clown and Sienna go at it. It was a fun time. It was very intriguing for me, but then freaking some portal to hell just randomly opens, right? And all of a sudden, Sienna's cousin gets dragged to hell. You know, I don't know why Sienna tried to help her with the sword. Like, why the hell would you do that? But and it also made no sense why Art the Clown just ran away. Like, conveniently, he just ran away and he could have just pushed Sienna down there. Like, if he really wanted to just get rid of her, right? Like, maybe she wouldn't have died because I don't think Sienna's cousin's dead. But it's like, man, why? I mean, it's not really a big deal to me, but it just didn't. It doesn't make any sense. It just feels like convenient plot armor. Like, you make it so obvious at that point. Like, like he literally didn't even try to hurt her. Like, she literally had the sword laying on the ground, and he just chose to just conveniently run out the window and escape. I get it. He was hurt, but it just makes no sense. But I guess that does prove the point that Art the Clown, people say like I do agree that he does have some superhuman strength because I mean we saw this guy just like as him hitting the doctor's head in the opening scene of Terrifier 2 but the mallet, like how was that enough to open the guy's skull? Like that's just not possible. Then he broke the girl's arm in the bedroom scene. Like obviously he has some superhuman strength, but he doesn't know how to fight. The guy is clumsy as shit, and it's not like his superhuman strength is like enough to like punch your head off like Jason Voorhees or like punch a hole through your chest. He can't like tear your body in half and just shred it into pieces with his bare hands. Like he can't do that. So it's not like his superhuman strength and just even him being able to keep his victims alive for as long as he wants, like it means nothing. He's just like, and at the end of the day, it's like those powers are being given to him. It's not like he himself is like immortal and just indestructible. These powers are given to him by the little girl clown, and she's constantly the one bringing him back to life. So, yeah, Art the Clown really isn't that undefeatable as people make it seem as he is. I mean, the dude literally ran away after Sienna stabbed him with the sword because he was that hurt. And he was obviously hurt before that. So, yeah. But, yeah, and then, Sienna's just sitting there in shock, scared, and pain, physical pain, after everything that just happened. And then Art the Clown rides the bus and, squeezes the horn, looks at the camera with the creepy face, with the scary face. Yeah, because I don't know why he made his face like that, but anyways, yeah, and that was it. So, overall, Terrifier 3, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie for sure, but I just wish, man, I wish most of the characters would have been more memorable. I wish, and I also just the story itself, like I said, man, it's just like, they really gotta bring more story for Terrifier 4, even, like, I know they have the whole lawsuit, so I don't even know if it's gonna happen, but, which, I mean, I think it is, but Terrifier 4, I just feel like, man, in Terrifier 4, they gotta bring the story, they gotta bring more plot to their movies, man, because overall, it's just Art the Clown killing people. It's just like, come on, man. If you're trying to build on a story, if you're trying to create a story, then make that the focal point, not the kills. Like, why are you just relying on shock value, bro? We need more story in these movies. Like, not just little bit of story and then that's it, and just call it a day. Like, just right, not just sprinkle it in. Like, no. Bring the story actually in Terrifier 4 and progress it, and that's it. From the previous movies, and that's it, So, that's my Terrifier 3 review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.